Hello and welcome back to my channel and my Planet Zoo speed build. We're back in Siber Park and I'm really excited about this build. We're beginning to work on the Eastern Wild Turkey, which is one of my modded animals. I'll have a link to the download on Nexus if you want this animal. To start out, I'm just kind of making the landscaping right outside where the turkey habitat is going to be, using that little guy as a guide for scale, which to this day I struggle with. Several times during the course of this build I ended up shrinking things, including this area of water you saw right there. It's a skip because I ended up making it too big, and then I ended up making the walkway around the habitat too big. As much hours as I've had in this game, scale is still something that eludes me a lot of the time. I'm trying to get better at it and using the little people. I did download the, what is it called? The Angry Archer to try and use that, but unfortunately when you're playing, I've found in, I guess it's both franchise mode and challenge mode, you can't buy him unless you unlock all the pieces that were used to make him. So right now I can't unlock him, so I'm just being forced to use my poor little staff members as pawns in my attempt to make things to scale. But even in doing that, and I've shrunk it again, I still think it's probably too big for the turkeys, but oh well. It actually worked out because I had originally intended this to just have that hangover and then the front be like an open viewing, but I ended up changing my mind because I realized when I went and checked the Zoopedia for them that you can have them as a walkthrough animals, which is pretty cool. I personally wouldn't recommend that because turkeys are assholes. I used to live out on my grandpa's farm. Well, not his farm, it was just an acreage, but there was wild turkeys everywhere around there, and they were so mean. They lived in big groups, and they're not like farm turkeys. They're mean and very territorial, and they can fly and they will chase you. And I never got attacked by one, but I did have groups of them chase me through the woods several times, and that's why I started taking my grandpa's dog with me on walks out there, because I was scared of I was scared of the turkeys. But even farm ones are mean. In my experience, every time I go to a petting zoo, I will not feed the turkeys because they will peck you. So this was supposed to be up here, the main viewing area, and I did kind of a little, I don't know what you call those. It was just a rotational build because I'm still practicing those. It was just supposed to be kind of a little cover for when people come and stand up there. But unfortunately, because I made it a walkthrough habitat, they don't really come up here, and I was trying to use the mud pillars to act as the centerpiece because apparently that helps you get stuff perfectly centered, but I kind of forget how to use that. So I mean, it still worked out, it's okay, it's nothing special, but I'm gonna have to go and look up some more tutorials. I have a whole sandbox that I've set aside just for practicing building, and right now I'm just kind of doing the basics, which is slow going because I already know most of the basics. So this has just been kind of working my way towards more advanced building. I have done rotational building in the past, but nothing fancy, just stuff like this. And I would even argue that that needs to be out more, but again, nobody comes up here, which is disappointing, but hey, it looks nice, so whatever. I'm gonna try to have something else on the other side, some kind of other habitat. I don't know what animal it's going to be, but I kind of want that little hangover to expand to the other side as well, so it's kind of like a dual purpose viewing area where one side has looking down on the turkeys and the other side has looking down on whatever it is I decide to put over there. I do believe the next animals, I'm sorry if you can hear my cat crying in the background. He likes to scream. We make fun of him and it sounds like he's saying oh no. He's oh no, but he's been doing that. We just brought him all the way from Iowa to here, so he's like freaking out about it still. He doesn't like being left alone, but you know, he'll be okay. The next habitat I'm going to do, I think, is American bison and pronghorn. And they're on the other side of the park, again, with like an overhang to view them. And it's more of like supposed to be an open prairie kind of thing. I had originally considered making it to where you could take the rides and drive through it, but I have never used the transport systems in this game, not once. I've never used the cars and I've never used the trains, so I'm not entirely sure how to go about setting them up. I might have to look up some tutorials, and I may just end up saying screw it. So originally I had wanted that whole water area to just be like there's nothing in front of it, the guests could just look in, but I wasn't entirely sure if the turkeys could swim, because again, I always wait until the last second to look at the Zoopedia, but it turns out they cannot. But I still put a fence there because I felt that having open water leading right into an exhibit would be hazardous, but then it turns out people just walk through there anyway, so it hardly matters. So here we are using, again, these fences. It was sad because I ended up having to take a loan out of, I think, $5,000 on this game to finish this exhibit. I need to build another set of custom fences because right now they're too expensive to keep utilizing. I wanted something with a hangover because they're birds, but realistically, I guess if you were going to have something like a turkey exhibit, it would be entirely closed in. It wouldn't be open like this. I don't know. I live in Florida, and there's a place called Jungle Gardens that they have a lot of birds there, and they have peacocks and flamingos that just wander. They're not in anything, and they stay in there. They don't. He's crying. Yeah, you can probably hear him in the back. Blaze, shush. I am so sorry. He is a crybaby right now, but he's not allowed in the workroom, so that's why he's crying. But he's so sad. It's so funny. But yeah, when you're going to Jungle Gardens, the flamingos can fly. I've seen them fly, but they're in a big pond area, so they're not able to. They could get out, they just don't. I don't know why. So that was kind of the thing I was thinking here in regards to the turkeys, is they basically, if their needs are being met, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to stay in their little area. But who knows? Maybe their wings are clipped. I don't like the idea of that, but nah. So as you can see, I ended up changing it to the walkthrough, and then I found out later that you also have to have the habitat walkthrough, which I thought that the staff would just use the guest entrance for some reason. I don't make walkthrough habitats that often, so that was news to me. Putting up a little extra bit of security fencing, which I'm actually glad I did, because I think this keeps the turkeys from being able to get out. They can't swim, but they kept being able to get over all the rocks I was putting down. It took me forever. A vast majority of this was trying to keep them from escaping, because they kept being able to get out by that rock area over by the little raised path. And man, it took forever for me to figure out that. So yeah, there's me putting in the habitat gate leading in, because apparently they need that. And I didn't like how it looked, so I stole this from, I think that's on my raccoon habitat, just to kind of blend it in so it didn't stand out like a sore thumb. I made the decision to make their hard shelter more organic and just kind of blending into this whole rock face, so it didn't look like something that they were going to be hiding in. It just looked like part of the rock formation, but it does lead back into a little cave for them. And they're bringing the turkeys. He's so pathetic. It's so sad. I was not expecting him to cry like this, but he normally doesn't. He hasn't been crying like that for a while. He's just a big baby. He'll be okay. But yeah, we do 3D printing in here, and we sell stuff, so we can't have them in the room with us, or they'll get their fur everywhere. Yeah, but as you can see, they could just get out everywhere. So I had to make a lot of changes in order to prevent them from escaping, which is funny because they're a bird that can fly. So technically, they can get out of this whole thing. But I skip over a lot of that trying to figure out yeah, it took forever. I had to do a lot of adjusting of the rock work. And here's me building their little, it's basically a cave, I suppose. I don't know what turkeys live in the wild. Trees. But I opted to do it this way because I think I was burnt out from building the whole moose habitat and building that walkthrough and building their thing. So I just was like, I'm just going to do something that's more freeform because it's easier for me and it looks nicer in my opinion. It matches the landscape a little better than just putting in something that, I don't know, looked too man-made for them. But they can get back in there and people can't see them. I'm not entirely sure if the turkeys are listed as shy. I don't think so, but if they are, then that's somewhere where they can go to escape. And people can't see them coming from either direction in there, so it's a good place for them to be. And here we're going to start putting down, I had to go into the Zoopedia to, when you're having modded animals, they can only use stuff that is already unlocked for like official animals. They don't have their own entertainment or toy enrichment or anything like that. So if you look it up in the menus, it doesn't list them. So you have to like physically go into their Zoopedia to actually check what can be used for them. So that's one downside, is you kind of, you're not going to get any new enrichment for these animals. They're just limited to whatever's already available within the game. Again, these education boards, the two inside the walkway, are not powered. At this point in time, I don't know. I need to put up another staff location. I just don't know where to do it where I could easily hide it, but I'll figure something out. So for right now, they're just not powered. Been coloring the donation boxes to match the animal colors, which I think is fun. I don't normally do that. I'm usually too lazy to change colors in this game, but I've been doing it more lately. I think it looks nice. Putting down all of their foliage, and the nice thing about the turkeys is, again, seems to be a common thing with the North American animals, is you can have as much foliage as you want, which is perfect. It's my favorite. I went for something that was kind of overgrown but also manicured. Doesn't make any sense, but it has a lot more flowers and everything's kind of going along the path. I wanted to blend the path in and make it look like a trail that you'd walk through in the woods, as opposed to just a gray blob in the middle of all this foliage. So I did my best to blend it. I might go back in and add some more around it later. I wasn't running out of time. I was just, again, after a while, I don't want to look at things anymore. So I just kind of threw down what I felt was necessary and then went from there. I also took some of it and put it around, again, the little habitat gate area, so when people go in and leave, they don't really see that. It's being covered up and blended in. I used these little bushes as markers along the trail. And that's about it. That's the whole habitat. And here at the end, instead of a screenshot, I decided to show some just little video clips of the turkeys walking around in their finished habitat and show off the models. And, there's really great modders in this community right now, which is amazing. I wish more people did prop packs, but makes sense that most people are focusing on the animals. When modding for this originally started, people, all you could do was reskin existing animals, but then people figured out how to make custom brand new animals that aren't overriding any of the ones that are already in the game, which is really cool. I really like the male turkey. And here is a little bonus clip of my moose. She got pregnant while I was playing, and had her babies, selling the raccoons because, you know. But I wanted to show her having her. I wanted to show the moose having her baby because, you know, the moose baby is insanely adorable. She's gonna lay down and give birth. There he is. He's so cute. But yeah, that's basically it. We're just gonna just leave off on the cute little baby moose walking around. Brand new baby moose. They're so cute. But yeah, I think next one is going to be my American bison and pronghorn. I'm going to do mixing for them. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time.